on study techniques, confidence building, etc. So we are going to benefit from. So let us listen to Dr. M.P.
Jazakallah khairan, sir. I think
a little louder.
A little. Is it audible?
Yes, no. Proceed.
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, with an earnest dua that Allah's peace and rahmat should prevail upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his blessed family members, his companions, and each and every member of this organization, OMIR, and also the participants present here. And with this dua, I also extend my very pleasure and my gratitude for the organizers of this session for giving me an opportunity to be here with you today. And also I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me a chance to meet you all today. And I have attended in the past many of the meetings of OMIR, and I have been a participant, but Alhamdulillah, today I'm given a chance to be the presenter. Jazakallahu khaira. And may Allah bless and reward all the endeavors of OMIR towards the educational upliftment of this society. Ameen. And I have shared the slides. Am I audible? Sir?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the slides I have shared? Right. Okay, fine.
Yes, visible.
Okay, fine. Dear teachers, we are in the teaching profession professed by our leader Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and among the various responsibilities, we shoulder the greatest responsibility of taking the student generation through a very long journey in the very prime developmental period of their lives. Yes, whether it is the primary lot or the secondary school students or the adolescents of the higher secondary groups, nowadays the teacher's job is becoming one full of lots and lots of challenges that demand innovation, creativity, competence, and commitment. And ultimately, nowadays, it has become one which demands patience. And we all know that the challenge is compounded today due to technical advancement. And as we all know, gadget addictions, and post-pandemic, the emotional aspects of our students have been alarmingly impacted. We all know that as teachers, we are expected not only to be facilitators for academic achievements, but also to be instrumental in inculcating desirable behaviors in children. Right. With this introduction, I'll move on to the session. First, let me give you what are the aspects we are going to deal with this in this session. First one, I am going to tell something about behavior management, the importance of behavior management, and how as teachers we are responsible for that. Next thing, what are the expected problem behaviors? What are the prevailing problem behaviors? And what are the types of behaviors we encounter as teachers in our classrooms, in real classroom setting? And also, what are the causes behind these? That is etiology. What are the causes? What may be the causes? So we are going to find out the causes. Next, why is it necessary for a teacher to give her intervention? Sir, any issues?
No.
Okay, any issues? No. Right. Why management is important nowadays? Why intervention is important? So if we do not intervene in any circumstance, what are the outcomes? What are the grave outcomes we are going to face? So that will be the next aspect. And finally, I am going to share you with a very small topic, very small technique, how to analyze behavior of students, right? So with this introduction,
அப்படின்னு தெரிய சொல்லித்தேன் நான் சொல்லித்தேன் ஒரு வேணாம் சொல்லி தராட்டி வேணாம் எல்லாத்தையும் அமுக்கி விட்டுருவா தேவையில்லை ஏன் அமுக்குற நீ செஞ்சும் தர மாட்டியா அப்போ எனக்கு சொல்லிதான் தரணும் செஞ்சு தருவல வேணாமா
some disturbance, I think. Okay.
Yes,
Shall I proceed,
muted.
sir?
Yes. Muted.
Fine. So teachers, coming to the responsibility, what is that? Why is behavior management becomes the immediate responsibility of the teachers nowadays? We all are aware that in the Islamic perspective, education and knowledge should be a very important aspect in the life of a Muslim, and knowledge about the source of knowledge about the source, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the prime necessity of education in Islam. And also the child has to know the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the purpose of this life in this universe, and we have to also teach them how we are going to reach all these purposes, how we are going to fulfill all these purposes, and also to be truly successful in this world and in the hereafter. So this is clear. And regarding this, yesterday we had a very good session. And importantly, education in an Islamic perspective should foster good character and behavior in our children. Agree? Right. Because our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam modified and strengthened the character of the people of Jahiliyyah through Islam. So teachers, my first point is, your first duty is to modify the behavior of students, inshallah. Right? Now, with this, we will move on to the next slide. As teachers, you can understand that every student, every human being has certain characters, certain behaviors that are expected from them. So we can name them as good characters, or we can name them as desirable characters, right? Second one, we also have certain bad behaviors or undesirable behaviors that is bad for the student, for the community, for the teacher, and for the other students of the classrooms, or these are some bad behaviors, right? So we have certain rules in the society that some behaviors, some characters are good and some are bad, right? As a teacher, you have to together do three duties altogether, right? At the same time, a teacher is expected to maintain the existing good behavior of the students. Second one, you have to introduce non-existing good behavior in students. At the same time, it's your duty to eliminate existing bad behavior. Let me explain you again. குழந்தைகளிடம் காணப்படும் நல்ல பழக்க வழக்கங்களை தக்க வைப்பதும், அதை அவர்கள் விட்டுவிடாமல் அதனை தக்க வைத்துக் கொள்வதற்கும் ஒரு ஆசிரியர் முயல வேண்டும். இரண்டாவதாக, என்ன நல்ல பழக்கங்கள் ஒரு குழந்தையிடம் காணப்படவில்லையோ அந்த புதிய பழக்கங்களை அவர்களிடம் புகுத்துவதற்கும் ஒரு ஆசிரியர் முயல வேண்டும். மூன்றாவதாக, என்ன தேவையில்லாத, சமூகம் வெறுக்கக்கூடிய, ஷரியத் வெறுக்கக்கூடிய, அல்லது அவர்களுடைய அன்றாட நடைமுறைகளை பாதிக்கக்கூடிய தேவையற்ற பழக்கங்கள் ஒரு குழந்தையிடம் இருக்கின்றதோ அதனை களைவதற்கும் ஆசிரியர்கள் முயல வேண்டும். சரியா? அப்ப 3 விஷயம் நம்ம பண்ணணும். So it's a very big responsibility, I think, right? So in this session, I'm going to deal with the third one, inshallah. So, but let me explain you what is the meanings of all these things, right? First, maintaining existing good behavior. For example, you have a student in your class. Usually when teachers enter the class, all the students will get up and greet the teacher with Assalamu alaikum or any Islamic greetings or whatever there in the schools. But if a student, for example, they are meeting you, if a student is meeting you in the playground or in the corridor or bus or where it is, if the student greets you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, right? What you are supposed to do is to have behavior. Only in that case, that behavior will be continuously existing. How you will acknowledge? You will reciprocate, you will greet him or her again. And one more thing, you have to put a smile. You have to show that you love that behavior. And once in a while, you can even appreciate, this girl, this boy is particularly greeting him wherever he or she meets me. So that is the form. In that way, we have to help maintain that behavior. And especially some students will be really helping others. So you can appreciate. So the first thing is only if we appreciate good behaviors and if we are reinforcing that behavior becomes a habit. So habit formation, for habit formation, it's very, very important, right? Next, if you find out that there are not any good behavior also, you have to find time to introduce. That has some separate techniques. We will deal with it later. And the third one is you have to eliminate bad behavior. Okay, fine. Now, because students' behavior, really undesirable behavior abound in our children's character nowadays, and especially daily, day to day. You teachers, you have got your own experience in your real classroom situations. You might have heard many, even strange situations, even weird situations. When I meet teachers, they come up with certain behaviors which we could not even classify and we could not even put them under any topic. So such behaviors, what may be the reason? We have to struggle to find out the reasons. So such behaviors are existing in the classrooms, and definitely they are going to hamper the educational scenario inside the classroom situation. Fine. Now I would like to ask you some questions, and these are questions just to ponder over. We can think before we go to the actual questions, and then we will see what are the ways in which the teacher is disturbed in the classroom. Okay. First thing is, teachers, are all your behaviors good in the class? Are all the behaviors of students good in the class? Definitely, I can hear your mind was saying no. Have you been troubled by your child's behavior? Most of the time, yes. Have you got any perfect students in your class? And one more thing, how often do they misbehave? When do they misbehave? Where do they misbehave? With whom do they do all those things? And have you ever acknowledged any of their good behaviors? And one more thing, always this debate. Boys behave well. So most of the teachers handling with girls, they say that boys are usually good, girls are more than boys nowadays, and the vice versa with the other section. And primary children are easy to tolerate. And no, we can deal with adolescents easier, but this side will say that no, dealing with adolescent has become a very great challenge nowadays. So this continues, right? So you will be always bombarded with all these things, because your side, we can assume that we are entering the class with your specific plans. You are entering the classroom, you have your own lesson plan, you have your own planning, your own goal ahead in your head to complete a lesson. So you'll be even planning to make them study in a particular class. You are going to give some revision. So with all these things, you enter the class and you have made up your mind how you are going to be active for that 45 minutes period or 40 minutes period or whatever it is, right? So at the same time, as teachers, you should also anticipate some disturbances that may erupt in the classroom. இன்னைக்கு இவன் இப்படி பண்ணுவான், இன்னைக்கு இந்த குழந்தைகிட்ட இருந்து இந்த ஒரு சேட்டையை நம்ம எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். So you have to anticipate. But against your anticipation also, something may happen. More than your anticipation also, something may happen in the classrooms. And this leads to waste of energy, waste of your time, and ultimately you become frustrated and you become stressed. Right? Agree, teachers? Right. So, but in the classroom, there will be a threshold. There will be a level. When I am going to stop all this, what am I going to do? A particular student or students are misbehaving. What am I going to do? At which point? If something comes and goes in the middle, and if it is not disturbing other students, you have to ignore such situations. Otherwise, next. First thing is the threshold. Where is the threshold or where is the level? The first point is you have to see whether it's really disturbing your class. If that particular problematic behavior is whether disturbing you or not, it will definitely, it's going to disturb the student, the academic session, or the neighbors of the student or other students or yourself, then there is going to be an intervention. It needs immediate intervention in that case. For example, most of the teachers, when I meet them, most of the schools, they complain of this situation from a student. For example, they may say, ma'am, this particular student, this particular girl, பேசவே மாட்டா மேம், என்னதான் நம்ம கொஸ்டின் கேட்டா கூட பேசவே மாட்டா, பதிலே சொல்ல மாட்டா, ரைட்? பதிலே சொல்ல மாட்டா. Even yes or no question. Had your breakfast? No. Even that no or yes will not be there. Even close-ended questions. Are you comfortable? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes or no question. Whatever the question may be, they will definitely won't open their mouth, right? I think that most of you might be also having such students in your classrooms, right? So this issue, this we call as selective mutism. The teachers will also say, class la da ma'am enna kettalu stubborn ah nippa, morachitu nippa, nama oru kelvi kekkrograde madikama nippa. So we think that it is a rebellious attitude, that it is a deviant behavior. But they will also say, அதே சமயம் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் கூட அப்படி பேசுறா மேம், கிரவுண்ட்ல பார்த்தா விளையாடும் போது அவ்வளோ சவுண்டா பேசுறா, அவ்வளோ சத்தமா பேசுறா, அவ்வளோ ஜாலியா இருக்கா, ஆனா கிளாஸ்ல மேடம் ஏதாவது கேள்வி கேட்டா மட்டும் she will definitely not open her mouth, right? This problem we call as selective mutism. They will have mutism, they will not speak only in certain situations, but this is a anxiety related disorder. This is an anxiety related disorder, and in certain social settings, the child will perceive the setting as so fearful, and certain persons, they feel as strangers. So though this is a problem for the teachers, for the student, and intervention is absolutely necessary, immediately inside the classroom, you need not waste your energy and time to deal with this particular child. But at the same time, a student who is sitting near that girl is disturbing that girl, pinching her, picking, doing something. In that case, if the other child is going to be affected, or a particular child is being talkative, being noisy, disturbing class, then immediately your intervention is necessary. Can you get me? Right? So you have to analyze whether intervention is necessary in the middle of the session or whether intervention is necessary after completion of the session. That's one thing. Right. You have to find out whether any problem behavior that is erupting in your class is wasting your time and whether it's challenging your career. So most of the teachers, many times, they have complained, ma'am, my 10 years of experience, I have never experienced such a behavior. I have never seen such a student with such a behavior. So you have to see whether it's challenging your career And sometimes some behaviors, they don't allow you to move on with the classroom session. It's a hindrance to the teaching learning process, right? So definitely all of you might have been affected, should have been affected by any of these problems, right? When we see how we are going to classify these behaviors, those many of you might be knowing all these things. I am classifying them as aggressive behaviors. Aggressive behaviors, disruptive behaviors, those disturbs you, and destructive behavior, whether it may be, they may be involved in distracting the peace of the class, distracting, and uh, sometimes they engage in vandalisms, right? They will spoil the furniture, they will do this, that, they will scratch on the board, something they will be doing. And also some withdrawn behaviors also be there in the classrooms, right? So aggressive behaviors, as you all know from these pictures, you can identify students sometimes yell at the class. They shout at the top of their voice in the class, fighting with others, and aggressive. Actually, these aggressive behaviors, they don't like to follow rules, and they will be abusing others verbally and physically. They oppose teachers, and they like arguing. So this type of aggressive behaviors you will be viewing in the classroom. And also disruptive behavior, say all those things, talkatives, and meddling with the friend's hair, pulling the hair, plucking the hair, doing all these mischiefs. And this rocket, because he doesn't want the class to go on peacefully. He wants to somehow disturb the class. And also see this boy meddling, fidgeting, doing something, because due to hyperactivity or something, some girls or some boys, they will be engaging in fidgeting activities, doing this and that with their pencils, with their pens. And you also have drawn students inside your classrooms. Whatever you do to make them come and engage in the classrooms, definitely there will be a failure. You won't be able to bring them along. So these withdrawn behaviors will also be there in the classrooms, right? Okay, fine. Now, a little knowledge we can gain about the reasons behind all these things. But before knowing the reasons for whatever problem exists, first we have to analyze. Before blaming others, first we can analyze what are the reasons, whether I am the reason for that behavior, right? So this may be so strange for most of you, but teachers, from our part, let us understand for any of the things we are responsible. Fine. All right. First is the boring and monotonous teaching practices the teachers are engaging in most of the time. We may be taught many strategies of teaching, but the same strategy, does not work for the entire session. So you have to look at the audience, you have to look at the students, you have to see their behaviors, and as the situation warrants, as the situation changes, you have to observe from their behaviors, and you have to modify your strategy. Okay. And as we all know, we have the habit of teaching continuously throughout the entire class. So it's also always recommended to devote 5 minutes before the actual session and last 5 minutes after the session to simply motivate, or we can crack a joke, we can ask them an experience of themselves, something like this. And another habit, because we are always concerned with completing the syllabus and giving them revision. So in that, we start taking the class continuously for more periods and all those things. So you might be knowing all these things. And unmotivated teachers. And one more thing, aggression of the teachers. A recent study reports that why most of the students hate teachers. The study shows that the reason behind this, aggression shown by the teachers towards the students. So most of the teachers, we don't understand that we are aggressive towards the students, right? Okay, fine. And many genetic, physical, and environmental reasons are there. So you can go through. And because most of the students nowadays, they are having ADHD problem, hyperactivity problem, attention deficit problems, and it's so natural that they will be restless in the class. So they will defy rules. They can't accept rules. They can't sit in a place. All the time, they will be having some sort of impulsivity. என்ன நினைக்கிறானோ அதை செஞ்சே ஆகணும். 45 minutes, 35 minutes அந்த குழந்தையால சேர்ல உட்காரவே முடியாது. Right. So what can we do for that? Okay, we will see. And one more thing, when intervention becomes necessary, why intervention becomes necessary is when a student misbehaves in the class, how long can I take? Another 5 minutes? Okay. So when a student misbehaves in the class, the student becomes a wrong role model for the other children. So we are displaying, if we do not intervene, we are displaying to the students, other students, that you can also misbehave. That will be also accepted in my classroom, right? So, and one more thing, there will be an atmosphere of annoyance, noise, chaotic it becomes. Other students start enjoying the misbehavior. And what are the reactions of the teacher? How ma'am is going to react? How class is going to stop? So all these things will be so funny experience for the other students of the class. So you have to be very careful in that. And the fundamental right of other students is spoiled, is in question. So why a child comes to the school? To study, to excel in the academics and all those things. We are responsible for we are answerable for the management and for the parents who invested time in the education of the children. But when they come inside and they are disturbed by one or two behaviors of one or two students, then definitely the fundamental right of the students is in grave question. Right. First thing, only one thing, I'll just give it and I'll wind it up. First thing, for you to analyze a behavior, you have to be very careful in how to analyze a behavior, how you have to analyze, right? This, inshallah, if we have an opportunity, I'll explain in the next class, but let me give you an introduction about that. For any behavior, so here you are seeing B. B is the behavior, right? For example, let me tell you, B is the behavior of a particular boy, Hassan, inside the classroom. He is fidgeting, he's making noise, or sometimes he is opening his box and he's making some sort of noise and some sort of thing he's going. That is the actual behavior. First thing you have to understand whether the behavior can be understood by any reason. You have to see why this behavior is happening in the classroom. So that is the way you have to find out the antecedent. What precedes the behavior? What precedes? What's going on before the behavior? What is the actual cause of the behavior? Cause for the teachers, you may know the cause or you may not know the cause. எதுக்காக இந்த குழந்தை உட்கார மாட்டேங்கிறான், தொணன்னு அடுத்தவங்களை பிடிச்சி இழுத்துட்டே இருக்கிறான், வீணா சவுண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறான், அடுத்தவங்களை டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்றான், இல்லனா he is talking in the class or he is putting unwanted questions in the class as if he has got many doubts கேட்கிற மாதிரி நிறைய கேட்கிறான். Something he is doing in the behavior. இந்த behaviorக்கு காரணம் என்ன? You have to understand. எதனால இவ்வளவு பண்றான்? Another thing, இந்த behaviorல engage ஆகிறனால என்ன consequence, அவனுக்கு என்ன கிடைக்குது? இத முதல்ல அனலைஸ் பண்ணா மட்டும்தான் நம்ம அந்த பிஹேவியர் ப்ராப்ளம்ல இருந்து அந்த குழந்தைய முதல்ல வெளியில கொண்டு வர முடியும். இல்லனா அந்த பிஹேவியருக்காக அந்த பையனுக்கு பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கறோம்னா என்ன டைப் ஆஃப் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கறோங்கிறத, இந்த கான்சிக்வன்ஸ் எதுக்காக இப்படி செய்யறான் அப்படிங்கறது கான்சிக்வன்ஸ முழுசா புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டாதான் இந்த பனிஷ்மெண்ட்டையும் நம்ம கரெக்டா கொடுக்க முடியும். அதே சமயம் அந்த புரிஞ்சா இந்த ஏபிசி அனாலிசிஸ் முழுசா ஒரு டீச்சருக்கு தெரிஞ்சா மட்டும்தான் நம்ம என்ன பண்ணலாம், பிஹேவியரை மாத்துறதுக்கு முன்னால இந்த ஆன்டிசெடன்ட் எதுக்காக பண்றான் அதை நம்மள சில மாற்றங்கள் கொண்டு வர முடியும். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா இந்த பிஹேவியர்ல என்கேஜ் ஆகிறனால அவனுக்கு என்ன கிடைக்குது பாத்தீங்களா, அதுல சில மாற்றங்கள் உருவாக முடியும். ரைட், ஒன் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஐல் ஃபினிஷ். என்னன்னா நம்ம சொல்லிட்டோம் இந்த பிஹேவியர்லாம் அவன் பண்றான்னு சொன்னோம். எதுக்காக பண்றான்? why he is doing all these behaviors? First thing, he doesn't like English class. He doesn't like the science teacher. Right? In one school, I heard that a particular boy takes his cap and puts it out of the window. Right? And all the students nearby, ma'am, Hassan Tuki potita, ma'am. He has thrown. Right? What the teacher does? Immediately stops the class. Two of you go outside, search for that, bring it inside. Right? What happens? Classroom will be stopped. Class will be stopped. Session cannot continue. Right? So this is the consequence he expects. Now, what is the antecedent? He doesn't like the teacher. he doesn't like the subject. அதுக்காக அந்த ஆன்டிசிடென்ட், அந்த ட்ரிகர், மேம பார்த்த உடனே அவனுக்கு பிடிக்கல, சப்ஜெக்டே அவனுக்கு பிடிக்கல, ரைட்? சோ அப்ப ஆன்டிசிடென்ட் இதனால கான்சிக்வன்ஸ் அவனுக்கு கிடைக்கிறது கிளாஸ் நிறுத்தணுங்கிறது தான் முக்கியமா அவனுடைய எய்ம். அந்த எய்மை நம்ம அவன் அடைஞ்சிடறான் கிளாஸை ஸ்டாப் பண்றது மூலமா, ரைட்? அதர்வைஸ் மேம டென்ஷன் படுத்தணும் அப்படிங்கறத ஆன்டிசிடென்ட். மேம் வந்து நம்ம ரொம்ப கோவப்பட்டு அவன் கிட்ட காட்டுறோம் அப்படின்ட்டு மேம் இஸ் yelling at the student. He becomes satisfied. Oh, I have achieved my aim. Right? So all these things, நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க? Go and stand out of the class. He says, standing out, that is not a punishment to him, but that is a reward to him. He enjoys standing out. ரைட்? ஸோ ஏபிசி நம்மளுக்கு தெரிஞ்சாதான் எதுக்காக அந்த பர்டிகுலர் பிஹேவியர் வருது, அவனுக்கு என்ன எது ட்ரிகர் பண்ணுது, அவனுக்கு எது கிடைக்குது. நம்ம அவனுக்கு பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்குறோம் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சிட்டு டீச்சர்ஸ் நிறைய நேரம் என்ன பண்றோம், அவன் என்ன நினைக்கிறானோ அதையே அவனுக்கு கிடைச்சது. அமைதி ஆயிடுறோம், சத்தம் போடுறோம், டீச்சரை டென்ஷன் ஆக்கணும்னு தான் அவன் அப்படியே பண்றான். பட் சத்தமா போட்டு நம்ம அவங்கள ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ராங்கா நம்ம கண்டிக்கிற மாதிரி நம்ம கோபப்படுறத காமிச்சு நம்ம என்ன அவங்க what we are displaying, I have lost control of this class, right? So ABC analysis is very important, and inshallah if Allah wills, we will meet in the next class. We have lots of techniques of behavioral management and how to deal with these behaviors. Jazakallah khaira for your patient listening, and I hope that you have understood what I have explained. And I once again thank Omiyat and all the members for giving me this opportunity. And may Allah accept all our endeavors and all our efforts towards education. Jazakallah khaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Very useful techniques you have given to us. My voice is coming? Audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible. Jazakallah.
My voice is coming.
Yes, sir, we can hear. It's
I am
audible.
audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Some
Thank you very much,
breaking,
ma'am. Very practical
Thank
tips you have shared.
Jazakallah.
Very practical tips. We will like to listen more from you in future also.
Inshallah.
These are the usual problems which teachers face in their classes, and you have given the solutions to them. So very useful session. Thank you very much. With this, we are closing this program. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.
سبحانك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين.